Welcome to the Free to Soar podcast. My mission is to inspire, empower, and equip heart-centered, mission-driven, kingdom-minded business owners to show up freely and fully as the brilliant, powerful change makers that you are, so that you can lead the business and the life of your dreams. You'll enjoy vulnerable, authentic conversations with me and other heart-centered, mission-driven leaders that will spark your heart and ignite your passion to powerfully transform you, your business, and your life from the inside out. Your next level of impact and income is about unleashing the fullness of you, reprogramming your limiting beliefs and patterns, tapping into and trusting your inner wisdom, and harnessing God's power within you so that you can unlock new possibilities in your business and your life. And this show brings it to you. Step with me into a God-powered reality wilder than your wildest dreams, with freedom, impact, abundance, and enjoyment that you were created for. Let's go. Welcome back to the Free to Soar podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something that touches every single business owner, every single leader, every human being, every person, even if we don't realize it. The difference between leading and living from that survival state, in that survival mode, versus what does it look like to lead from thriving mode? What does it look like to lead from your thriving self? Now, we're going to unpack what survival mode actually looks like in leadership and how it actually quietly drives many of our daily habits, and how you can shift into a thriving mindset that changes not just how you lead, but how you feel, how you connect, and how you create results in your business and in your life and everything you do, results that last. Because let's be honest, sometimes we're crushing it. We're busy, we're productive, we're showing up every day, but it's all being fueled by survival. It's drivenness. It's driven by fear, driven by pressure, driven by the need to prove, to control, to hold it all together. And there's a big difference between that kind of hustle and that kind of grind and the energy of truly thriving, where your leadership is magnetic and your creativity expands and your business actually starts to flow again. I want you to feel into that as I say that. Feel the difference. You can even feel that in your body when you are magnetic in your being, when you're connected to your essence, when you're creative, when you've got space in your day to think and to create, and when your business actually starts to flow again because you're aligned, you're truly aligned, and you're not in that driven state, driven from fear and pressure and proving and performance, but actually able to enjoy what you're doing, and you're fueled rather than driven. So let's talk about the survival self. Let's start with what I mean when I say the survival self. Your survival self is the part of you that's wired for safety, control, and certainty. It's the mindset that forms when you've been under stress for too long, running your business, leading your team from fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. And those can manifest in all kinds of ways. Do you even notice when you're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Do you even know throughout the day how you're reacting to every situation? Most of the time, it is from one of those rather than from a calm, regulated place. And it's different when we show up in those different ways. The results are drastically different when we're in a regulated, calm state and we're thriving versus when we're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. The survival you is the version of you that says, if I slow down, everything's going to fall apart. I can't delegate. No one does it like I do. Can't find good help. Can't trust anyone. I'll rest once I get ahead. If I'm not productive, I'm falling behind. I have to keep everyone around me happy, your clients, your team, or they'll leave and I'll go without, or there'll be some kind of negative retribution. Does any of that sound familiar? These are all survival-based patterns, and they look a lot like productivity, but they're actually self-protection. Here's some other examples. You micromanage instead of mentoring because control feels safer than trust. You say yes to everything because saying no feels confusing and risky. You obsess over results, but you disconnect from your vision and your purpose. You keep your calendar full because empty space makes you really uncomfortable, actually anxious often too. You tolerate things you're not okay with and people please your way to resentment and exhaustion because setting boundaries and asking for what you want and asking what you're worthy of feels scary and uncomfortable. In survival mode, you're driving, you're striving, but you're not expanding. It's not an expansive, it's a grind. It's not an expansive state. You're reacting. You're not creating. There's a big difference. And that constant own state drains your energy, it dulls your intuition, and it disconnects you from the very qualities that make you magnetic as a leader. Things like empathy, clarity, presence, this authentic confidence, embodied confidence, connected to your power and your magnetism. And you don't realize that you're actually doing things when you're in that survival state that aren't moving you forward. They're just making you more tired and more frustrated and draining you and diluting you. And I see it all the time. My clients come to me from business coaches who are all about the doing first, but they don't center them first in their true, most powerful magnetic essence. And the minute we stop all the doing and get clear and centered in their being, who they really are and what fuels them and what is truly aligned with them, their passion returns and a new, renewed and expanded sense of magnetism happens and clarity and confidence come and things get fun and flow starts to happen. Because when we feel safe, we're not in self-protection, we're safe to feel pleasure and expansion. It's a whole different state than constriction and rigidity and freezing. So let's talk about the thriving self. Let's contrast that surviving self that we just talked about with your thriving self, because your thriving self leads from trust, alignment, and a vision, from safety. Safety within, not from fear or pressure. Focus on the external. It's grounded in confidence, not control. It values clarity over constant motion. It knows that your worth isn't tied to your output. When you lead from your thriving self, you make space for creativity, collaboration, and flow. You stop performing productivity and you start embodying purpose and fueling passion. Here's some examples of thriving energy. You delegate not because you have to, but because you want others to grow and you see how much more impact all of you can make together. You make decisions from intuition and strategy and clarity, not panic or pressure. You allow space and margin in your day to think like the visionary that you are, rather than having to make these pressured decisions and not ever being able to step back and seeing the big picture and really connecting with what's in your heart and in your intuition. You know when to pause because rest becomes part of your rhythm, not just your reward or relief. You focus on a few things that actually move the needle instead of being busy for the sake of being busy. Here's the key shift. Thriving doesn't mean doing less. It means doing the right things with the right energy that are really going to move the needle forward. So why does this matter? Because when you lead from survival, everything you do carries that frequency. Your communication, your culture, your marketing, your relationships, people feel it. Clients feel it. Your team feels it. Survival energy repels. It makes people not want to be around you, and they don't even understand why. They sense it and they move away from it. But thriving energy attracts. Survival energy is all about chasing and lack and proving. Thriving energy is all about expansion and joy, vision. That energy attracts and growth. When you shift from survival to thriving, your presence becomes magnetic and you make clearer decisions. You create more trust. Your creativity starts to return. You become the kind of leader people want to follow, not because you demand it, but because you embody it and people are magnetized by it naturally. So let's talk about how we shift from surviving to thriving. Here's some practical ways to start shifting your energy. And the first one is this: pause and notice your patterns. Ask yourself, am I doing this, what I'm doing, from fear or from trust? From pressure or from purpose? From misalignment and confusion and have to, or fear, or from true alignment? Just naming it is powerful and is the first step to changing it. Secondly, create space instead of more strategy. Thriving energy needs oxygen. That might mean time off your phone, stepping away from your inbox, giving yourself white space to think. Stop doing so much and start being more. Redefine productivity. What if productivity isn't about how much you do, but how aligned you are while doing it? Also, learn how to create a sense of safety within and learn some techniques for reprogramming your nervous system to know what it feels like to feel safe within and truly connected to yourself rather than disconnected from you and attached to everything around you that's going to feed anxiety and fear and pressure. When we feel safe inside and we can come home and experience that embodied presence and that power, connected, grounded, centered, calm, we have access to resources internally that we don't normally have. And we are in the fullness of who we are. And we function at a whole nother level of expansion. And then reconnect with your why and your true essence. Survival mode forgets the vision. Revisit why you started your business, what truly matters, and what success looks like when you feel most alive. Who is your magnetic essence? When are you your most powerful, radiant, brilliant you? Who is that? Who are you when you're like that? Prioritize energy over effort. You are your business' greatest asset. Protecting your energy, your peace, and joy isn't indulgent. It's essential leadership. It's smart, wise leadership. And then finally, practice magnetic presence. When you slow down, you breathe, and you really see people, your team, your clients, yourself, that's when you lead from your thriving self. When you're connected to your own self first and learn how to feel safe internally, then you can see others and connect to them. So here's your reflection for the week. Where in your business are you leading from survival? And where are you ready to lead from thriving? What did it look like? What's the little shift? The shift isn't about doing more. It's about showing up differently. It's about becoming. It's about embodying. Because when you lead from your thriving self, you stop chasing results and you start attracting them. Until next time, keep leading boldly and living fully and trusting the version of you that's not just surviving, but actually arising and thriving. And if this episode resonated and you're ready to thrive like never before in business and life, then head to ConnieJonesCoach.com to connect with me. I have a one-on-one coaching mastermind for support and guidance. And we focus on the sweet spot between that inner work and strategy. We pull the gold out. We help you lead and live from your thriving self and then create the dream in your heart in freedom, joy, and true alignment. And if this message served you, share it with a fellow entrepreneur and Leave a review to help more aligned leaders find their path forward. And until next time, keep growing. Let's elevate and expand. See you soon.
Thanks for joining me today on the Free to Soar podcast, where we empower and equip you to lead the business and the life of your dreams with freedom, impact, enjoyment, and abundance. I look forward to our next episode together, and I invite you to subscribe to be notified of new episodes as they are released. Please share this or your favorite episode with a friend or a loved one, and I'd love it if you'd leave a review on iTunes and Spotify.